As it is, with all the reports that we are receiving, including that of intimidation of people in the Volta region, the intimidation of various people along the border and all that, with all those, what I want to say is that, well, as NDC, we are committed to having a peaceful election. And we have demonstrated that by our participation in the meetings that were held by the national security apparatus. We will continue in that vein. The NDC will not do anything that will derail these elections. But it's important to understand that we have our right to respond when certain things which are unlawful, take place. And therefore, one should respect that. The NDC is going to be very vigilant in this election. We are not going to allow anything that is untoward, anything that is unlawful to be carried out. And we will use all lawful means to resist whatever there is that is unlawful or that seeks to steal the election. And we must be clear about that we are not going to renege from that. And we have called on, and I do here call on all our polling agents and party functions to be very vigilant, law-abiding, but very vigilant, and ensure that this election is not stolen. Whoever wins this election has won, but the will of the people will prevail. Particularly, I urge all our previous appointees who come from the Eastern and Ashanti regions to go back to their regions and assist in the vigilance that is required. They should be vigilant and watchful during the voting, after voting, during the counting, and the transportation of electoral material to the various constituency collation centers in order to ensure that the results as declared at various polling stations are not compromised. Every NDC agent must endeavor to capture on video and camera the counting and declaration of results and keep a snapshot of the original pink sheet that has been signed by all party agents and EC officials present at every polling station at the close of poll. This is just a matter of evidence, and evidence should be collected in this regard. I further urge our polling agents and supporters to accompany and monitor the movement of ballot materials from their polling stations to the various constituency collation centers and be present during the collation processes to protest any anomaly they detect with the original result or pink sheets that were signed by all agents and EC officials at the various polling stations. It's a matter of being assertive on the rights of the individuals. And we are not going to renege on that. We are going to ensure that the elections are credible. Well, I will say that for us all as Ghanaians, this is the time to show courage and determination to protect the sanctity of the ballot. And it's the responsibility of all of us as Ghanaians. Our commitment in the NDC, I should say, is to defend the 1992 Constitution and all its provisions on election, even at the peril of our lives. And that should be clear, because that is how democracies are built and sustained. That is, in fact, a responsibility for all of us, the citizenry of Ghana. Well, that is how we can sustain our democracy. As would be expected, the NDC will take all necessary lawful measures to protect its rights and the rights of its members under the 1992 Constitution, before, during, and after the voting period. We urge the Electoral Commission to take cognizance of the apprehensions and anxieties being expressed by certain members of the general public, the reports I have mentioned, about the possible rigging of the elections, and to reassure the citizenry of its uprightness, preparedness, and commitment to conduct free, fair, transparent, and credible elections. As we approach the polls tomorrow, the NDC and its leadership insist that the will of the people must prevail. At the end of the counting of ballots. We are confident of our chances, and we are not going to do anything that is unlawful, but we expect the same of the other side. To this end, let me add that we in the NDC are ready to defend the 1992 Constitution and all its provisions on elections, even at the peril of our lives. This is an important election, and nobody is going to steal this election. If you win, you win. If you lose, you lose. And nobody is going to be allowed to do the unlawful during the process. And like I said, at the end of the day, the onus lies with the EC to ensure that these elections are credible. And the NDC will cooperate with the EC, will cooperate with all state agencies to ensure that we run a credible, transparent election. But we will not take anything else. I want to thank you.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant Colonel. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, I will now invite the former National Security Advisor, who is also the chairman of the campaign's communication committee of the party, Comrade Kofi Totobi-Kwache, will share a few words with us before our elections director will address us. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the media. Let me associate myself with the earlier apology offered by my friend and colleague, Lieutenant Colonel retired Bubulu Latte, for the late start of this press conference. He's explained to you that many things are happening all at the same time. And so some of these things are a little inevitable. We do apologize. Colonel Bubulu Latte has said it all. And I think it is very important to underscore one thing that he said, that we will defend the ballot, tomorrow's ballot, at all costs. We are interested in a credible, transparent, and free election. We have participated in a number of engagements at the level of the National Security Council. And at each of those meetings, we made it very clear that we were there because we are interested in the peace and stability of Ghana. But above all, we are interested in a credible and transparent election. We all talk about peace and stability. But as he said, the onus lies on the Electoral Commission to do what is right and to do only what is right. We think that when the right things are done, we, the NDC, are in pole position to win the 2020 election. At a time like this, you find that members of the ruling government, fearing the inevitable, will tend to engage in one or two things in order to forestall what is about to happen. We have seen it 92, 96, 2000, 2004, 2008, 2012, and 2016. But all I want to tell the members of the ruling government and the outgoing government and party for that matter, that at the end of the day, they must look at the larger picture. And that larger picture is the interest, the stability, and the future of this country. Nothing that they desire in terms of power or to remain in power must override that larger national interest, which is the sustenance and the stability of democracy in Ghana. It is the winning and the losing that has strengthened Ghana's democracy and brought us to this point. So I would expect that in every party, and especially the ruling party, at a time like this, there will be some hawks who would want to do certain things. Like I said, they should be guided by the bigger picture. They should be guided by what is in the larger national interest. At the end of the day, we want to have a Ghana that we are all proud of. At the end of the day, we want to be able to sit back and say that the best party won. And for that matter, that the NDC, which now is the best party with the best ideas, won. We are confident of winning. But please, I urge, I extend this message to our friends on the other side. Please, we take seriously the reports of ballot stuffing. We take seriously some of the infractions that are being reported. We take seriously all the reports that we are reading in the social media and we are receiving from all the sources. We take them seriously because we have seen it before. Because we saw what happened at Ayawasu West. Unbelievable things. We saw it with our own eyes. And so when you see certain things and read about certain things, we believe in the adage that there's no smoke without fire. It is, sometimes you look at the character of your opponent and you know that in the boxing ring, they are capable of hitting below the belt so many times that if the referee is also oblivious of the rules of the game, you will end up a loser. We take seriously all the reports that are coming out. Even if they are not true, we take them seriously because we know the opponent that we are dealing with. A lot of things are happening. This morning, there were reports of some skirmishes at the premises of one of the printing houses. I believe it arose out of a failure of the EC to do what was necessary at a point in time, to do what was necessary in terms of destroying overprinted ballot papers. Is that right? And that was the cause of the thing. These are the things that raise tension. These are the things that begin to constitute a spark. These are the things that agitate people. And the consequences can sometimes be dastardly for the nation. the EC, Madam Chairperson of the EC, must set up. Must really, really, really set up. And all those who are plotting and planning, we want to assure them that our eyes are wide open, our ears are hearing, and we are following every lead that we get. And we don't even say, we never say that this can be true or this can be true. We will follow it until we have ample evidence, sufficient evidence that it is not true. But we know the forces that we are dealing with. We believe in many of the things that we are hearing. And therefore, we are positioning ourselves in a manner that will ensure that what they have planned will come to naught at the end of the day. On Tuesday, Wednesday, we believe that the good people of Ghana would have spoken, and they would have spoken for the NDC. They would have given the nod for the NDC for things to change. They would have given the nod for the NDC because this nation needs rescue at this time. I thank you all, and may God bless our homeland, Ghana.
Thank you very much, Uncle KTQ. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, at this stage, we'll take the last address. Our Director of Elections will address us on some issues that have emerged over the last few days and that are likely to play out tomorrow during the elections. And depending on how it is managed by the EC, it can either be good or bad for the electoral process. And so I'm sure you've heard some of those issues. You've called us to hear our positions on them. The Director of Elections will quickly address you on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sami. And indeed, it is very humbling to speak after these two great giants of our party and the country. They are two people that I really adore, and I'm not ashamed to say that. And they've been my mentors right from especially Mr. Tobigachi University days up to now. He's taught me a few tricks. He's a master tactician. So I stand on all the previous protocols. Calling you to address you today has not been easy because, the usual politics and a day before the elections, what are you going to say? But I recall before the Ayawaso West Wagon by-election, we had solid and credible intelligence about things that were going to happen. And they sounded so bizarre. They sounded so un-Ghanaian. They sounded so unbelievable that even though we were sure of the sources, we also felt that, from a humanistic point of view, for the sake of political stability, no reasonable entity would dare engage in such an action in the center of Ghana, Accra. So, yes, we had the intelligence and all that, but there were some, could they really do this? And in fact, the nights before, there were some actions. Azoka's house was attacked and all that. All these were indications. Perhaps, if we had done what we're doing today, perhaps we would have gotten to where it all ended up. So when we have credible information, credible, verified intelligence that certain things are about to happen, I think we owe it as a duty to ourselves and to the country to let the public know so that voices of reason may prevail over voices that would attempt to destroy our democracy and our beautiful country. And let me also say that when these things come up and we talk about them, people say, well, you're complaining too much because you don't believe you're going to win the election. Let me say without any fear of contradiction that in spite of all the things that have happened, right from changing electoral commission, registration, everything that has been done, the will of the people of Ghana, the will of the NDC supporters, the will of the leadership is strong, and we are very solid that we are coasting to victory. And there is nothing, no man, no woman, no devil that can stop the victory. Nothing can stop it. So, we've heard about ballot stuffing. And this time around, it is not just ballot stuffing because you're all familiar with what has been happening at the various printing houses where they attempt to print ballots, we catch them, we bend them, they apologize, they'll come out and say it's not true. So this time around, our intelligence is telling us that they now have done the ballots in some of our strongholds, and we have specific locations. They're doing some in Ashanti, Eastern, Volta, Oti, and Northern region. And they are deliberately stamping it number 2. And then they have some of these agents provocateurs that they will arrest, connive, and they will say that we give them the ballots, meant to cause disaffection for us at this last minute, whilst they will then quietly be doing their own thing. Let me state here and now, how can we be stuffing? We are the ones who are arresting, catching people, and doing ballots and burning them. Even today, as Mr. Toduri Kwaji said, my deputy is there all over the place. We want every little extra ballot to be burnt and destroyed. So we are not in that business. So if you hear or see anything like that, know that it is purely orchestrated and it has nothing to do with us. We also have intelligence that they've done extra copies of the pink sheets. And so what they intend to do is that they'll swap pink sheets. And indeed, they are collaborating with other parties so that at every polling station, especially in their strongholds, when they have 3 or 4 parties that they have financed, then they will gang up and then sign whatever it is that they choose to sign. And then our agents will be in the minority and try to impose it on us. Well, when senior people like that tell you that we are ready, and we will not allow any man or woman to cheat us. All we want is free and fair elections. Simple. So the electoral officers who have been given the privilege to conduct this election, they're not asking for any favors. Just be free, fair, and neutral, and there'll be transparent, and there'll be peace. Nobody, we don't want anything from you. And we believe that they are all Ghanaians and they will do the right thing. Then intimidation, he's talked about it. The vigilante elements in security uniforms. We have videos and pictures of them in hotels all over the place. They've given them those uniforms. And the most worrying is that the deployments that were done, this last minute, they've changed them. And they've replaced them with the new recruits. What experience do recruits have? And those recruits, we know the antecedents to their recruitment. And so those are party people. So we want to urge the regular police and army. I keep saying that the regular police and army, they are very, very committed people. It is these people who will come in and are doing things in your name to destroy your image. Please ensure that the right thing is done. And every citizen must ensure that when you vote, that vote is sacrosanct. And it must be protected. So citizens cooperate with the regular police and the military to ensure that those deviants are brought to book. Citizens must ensure that they guard and protect their ballots. And specifically, we've picked up intelligence, the number of troops that have been deployed into the Volta region, it just doesn't make sense. The people of Volta region are peace-loving people. You are treating them like criminals. Troops upon troops upon troops, weapons upon weapons upon weapons. Well, the same way that they were not intimidated during the voters register, they will not be intimidated by your presence. The people of Volta region must come out and vote and vote and vote and vote and vote and vote, and they will vote. And they must not allow themselves to be intimidated by anybody. We know of plans to start sporadic shooting at 11 a.m. in parts of the Volta region, 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. And the idea is to blame it on the so-called secessionists. And look at the timing. So when it starts at 11 a.m. in certain parts, then it will stop. Then there will be, hopefully, they think there will be confusion. The people of Volta region, you are covered by the blood of Jesus. You are covered by the ancestors. You are covered by the spirits of our fathers gone before us. Go, no bullet will touch you. When you hear the bullet, go forward like men and women. Go and vote. Don't stop. Then they'll do it at 1 p.m. Then they'll do it at 3 p.m. All this is meant to what? Delay the voting process so that the people will not come out to vote. I mean, discourage people from voting. And this sounds like, what happened in Iowa West Wagon? Is it not the same thing? Violation. All the firing. That election had less than 20% turnout. And they said Iowa West Wagon is what? A dress rehearsal. They said it. So coming events, they say, cast their shadow. So we are drawing the mind of the country to these things. Then we are very concerned about the 24-hour declaration. You know, people say sometimes we are hard, or I in particular, I'm hard on the EC. But you see, we have all been part of this election management process for years. So we all have a little bit of experience, a little here, a little there. That's why there is a platform for us to share ideas. Nobody knows it all. This 24-hour declaration of results is one of two things. You say you're going to do manual declaration. There is no way you can do manual declaration in 24 hours. And indeed, we are aware of WhatsApp numbers that you have sent to your election officials to send numbers to you. Is that manual or electronic? So you are doing electronic transmission. Why are you deceiving the public that you are doing manual transmission? And then you have put yourself under an unrealistic timeline, 24 hours, and then gone to print a card. There's a card from the Electoral Commission. Invitation, declaration of the 2020 presidential election results. The Electoral Commission has the honor to invite you to the formal declaration of the 2020 presidential results. Date, 8th December 2020, time, 5 p.m. Venue, International Conference Center. Is it the show? Is it Miss Ghana? You know, you see, this showbiz kind of media razzmatazz without substance and deep thinking. So when in 24 hours, you now have a situation where 20, 30, 40, 50 results haven't arrived because of recounting, because it has to be recalculated. You know the implications? Then who caused them? So you put yourself under unnecessary pressure and tension. And if you don't have the results, are you going to create any results whatsoever? So you see, these are all unnecessary. We spoke about it, yet you see the arrogance and the purity. They've even gone ahead. If I were them, don't even respond, but just keep quiet and just revise your notes. You've gone, in other words, you can all go to hell. I've done a card. I'm inviting you. Face masks. There is no law anywhere. CI 127 is a law that guides the election. There's no law anywhere that says that people should wear masks before they go and vote. In any case, government devoted millions of cedis for masks during the COVID. Millions of cedis. So they either make it available or you don't stop people from voting. In any case, worst case scenario, I've said that what is a mask? What is the definition of a mask? Anything that covers your face. No, so please, as I demonstrated the last time, our women, Maya fee, cloth, anything you have, cover your face. This is a mask. Go. Yeah, whatever you can find to cover your face for that period. Nobody should allow himself to be disenfranchised. Peter says your shirt, but your shirt is big. You know. So, please, we urge everybody to vote early. Don't be intimidated. Don't be law-abiding. We are not encouraging anybody to take the law into its own hands. Be law-abiding. Follow all the procedures. But please don't be intimidated as well. You are not allowed to be within the perimeter. But outside the perimeter, nobody can stop you. If it's in your vicinity, you have time, be around, especially before counting. You are allowed to be around there, outside the perimeter, and witness, be vigilant. From now on, our victory is assured. Our victory is assured. Our victory is assured. But it's contingent on vigilance, 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 vigilance. That is the key. And that is what will take us through. I thank you very much.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't want to take questions because you see, when security mugus speak, we don't take questions. But I have been impressed upon by them to take just a few. So, first of all, I want to know, are there any questions? Do you have any questions? Okay, I can see some. So I'll take just 3 questions. Keep your questions concise, straight to the point. You tell us your name and your media organization, and you ask your question. So if you have a question, kindly come here. Use this microphone. Straight to the point.
My name is Oscar Kaba from Pan-African Television. Uncle Beblu says people should take video. I don't know why. If he can, please explain those points for us again.
Okay, thank you. Okay, second question here.
My name is Emmanuel Saki. I work for Young Kopaya. The NPP has responded to this your press conference saying that...
Oh, the press conference that we are not done?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a press release.
This one?
Yes.
Okay.
And is it number 3? They said, on the contrary, all acts of thuggery and political thievery that have surfaced in our democratic practice, like ballot box snatching and stuffing, were introduced by the NDC. You as a political party, what is your take on this particular statement?
Well, thank you. Well noted. I saw my brother from Joy.
Thank you. My name is
Yes.
Latif Idris. I work with Joy News.
Yeah.
Mr. Lati talked about, or he made a point that there are some pink sheets in circulation. If you can be specific and tell us exactly where these pink sheets are, so we can follow and bring it to the Ghanaian people to know exactly these allegations that you are making, whether they are true or mere fabrications. Thank you.
So in other words, you want us to share our intel with you. No problem. Well noted. So we have 3 questions. Our friend from Pan-African TV wants clarification about the video recording of the counting and declaration of results. I think Keno will take that, and then we'll take the second.
Oh, thank you very much. You're talking about the taking of pictures and videos. You see, everything has to be done according to the law. And when you are talking about the rule of law, you are talking about evidence. So you cannot come and say that somebody did something unlawful when you don't have evidence of what he has done. It will be helpful if you can take a picture of what happened and, present it. That gives you an opportunity to make your case. And that is exactly what I'm talking about. Pictures will be taken. If some hoodlums come to the polling station to beat up people, pictures will be taken of those people so we can see clearly who those people are so that it can help those who are supposed to punish them according to the law to do their work. And not just pictures, also videos. The other gentleman spoke of snatching of ballot boxes. I didn't quite get the point you wanted to make, because what we are talking about is that we are going to vote tomorrow, and we are not going to allow anybody to snatch ballot boxes. Whether party XYZ was snatching ballot boxes 20 years ago is not the issue today. We are talking about the voting for tomorrow, and that we are going to ensure that anyone who tries to snatch the ballot, the people will show him that the power actually belongs to the people. And they are organized to do that. So let anybody just dare go to the polling station and mess around. Then, yes, the other gentleman talked about pink sheets. Now, you should have listened to me carefully. I said we have received reports. Reports. I haven't said that I have any evidence. of pink sheets. I'm saying that we are receiving reports, and this is worrying because those are the things that raise the tension. And therefore, I'm urging the EC to come out quickly when such reports, those reports are all over social media. Yeah, all over. And you must have seen them too. Where's the gentleman? The gentleman who, yeah, you must have seen them too, didn't you? Haven't you? You have seen some of those reports, I suppose. No, I'm not talking about 2016. I'm talking about reports now that some ballot papers have been thumb-printed and are ready to be used. Reports that some printing houses, were keeping ballot papers that they had printed in excess of what they were supposed to print and did not declare to the political parties. I'm saying that such things raise the tension, and that when such things, arise, the EC should quickly be proactive in addressing them so that we can lower the tension. But it is the raising of the tension that can cause the disruption. If there is no tension, there will be no disruption. If everybody is calm and law-abiding and, things are transparent, nobody suspects that people are going to, steal the election, it will all become and we'll all have a peaceful election, and whoever has won, period. If you go into an election, you can lose. Both NDC and MPP need to realize that you go into an election, you can win or you can lose. And we are saying that things should be conducted in such a way that whoever loses has lost. Whoever wins has won. That's it.
Thank you. I think your questions have been well answered. Thank you very much, Colonel. So let's take final comments from our Deputy General Secretary in charge of operations and the Deputy Campaign Manager of the NDC's 2020 campaign team.
Thank you very much, Sammy. Okay, so I'm going to speak about one issue that was raised about the pink sheets. Indeed, there is a problem with pink sheets that we are trying to solve with the EC as it stands now. The election is just under 12 hours away. But the Electoral Commission is not sure the kind of pink sheets they are going to use in the elections. The reason is very simple. The CI 127 provided what the pink sheets should contain. Jim Mensah and a team decided to amend what has been provided for by the CI 127 without the knowledge of political parties, without our involvement. So we found out when they started printing and we raised the questions. It became very frontal at IPAC. Then they admitted and agreed that they would do the amendments. I'm sure I raised the questions, and in the media, some of you followed. They agreed and said they will restore what is in the law. As we speak, they have not been able to restore what is supposed to be in terms of the pink sheets. They have not printed new pink sheets, and they are holding on to the defective one they have distributed across the country. Last Thursday, when we had the engagement with the stakeholders at the National Security Ministry, we raised the issue, and immediately they called for a meeting that they would see if they could print it. As we speak, they have not printed it. They are telling us that they are going to develop some stamp, and they are going to stamp that pink sheet to provide for the columns that are missing. Last night, as at 11 p.m., I was on the field monitoring the various collation centers and the staffing of the ballot boxes for tomorrow. None of them had received the said stamp. None of them has the pink sheets that is supposed to be in the CI 127. We think that that is problematic. That is a recipe for disaster. That is an avenue for rigging the elections. And it is important that everybody gets to know. Now, the reason why this thing happened was that they wanted to take advantage of the manual verification option that has been provided for by the law to rig the elections. The law provides for 3 levels of verification. First level is thumbprint after your QR code is scanned. The second level is the facial verification. Then the third level is when your thumbprint has failed and your facials have failed. Then they would just have to proceed on the device to verify you manually. By that, the law stipulates that if you find yourself in that situation, they will need to fill a manual verification form for you. That will be authenticated by all agents available at the polling station. They unilaterally got up and said, oh, they want to exclude the manual verification form, such that if Farrakhan is not able to vote or he doesn't come to the polling station, I can go to the polling station, they will scan his QR code, and with some simple basic collusion, I would be able to vote on behalf of Farrakhan. Meanwhile, Farrakhan has not come to vote. We think that loophole is a very major loophole, and we have picked intelligence that that is what they are going to use to rig the elections. And so we raised that issue very strongly, and we feel that that error must be corrected. They have since told us that they would revert and allow the manual verification form to be filled. But again, the other option is that this year we are going into the elections with two registers. The certified register and some, if you want, supplementary or second register or whatever you want to call it. And that register is unique. Its features is not captured for in law. So when you are going to vote and your name is on that register, you don't go through the BVD device. So that is another avenue. So the issue about the pink sheets is linked to the loophole they have created in the system through the manual verification to rig this election. So we shouldn't downplay the evidence and the reports we are getting about the pink sheets. So that's it about the pink sheets. Now, the other point is that just yesterday afternoon, we had an information from our agents at the collation centers where they are doing the ballot staffing for the polling stations, that the Electoral Commission is saying that this year they are not providing voting pads and that we are going to use stamp pads to vote. This is very new because we had not discussed it at IPAC. It has never been mentioned by the Electoral Commission. Okay, I will explain. No discussion has been made. Now, the voting pad, I'm sure those of you who have voted before, is the round ink pad that you put your thumbprint on. And that is specifically designed for voting. So the level of liquid in there is controlled. The liquid in there is a special one that dries very fast. And that is what we have been using over the years. What is informing the Electoral Commission to change the voting pad into a stamp pad is most curious. Office stamp, I mean the normal office stamp. Without notice at all, you have not informed any political party, you have not informed any political actor, even those of us at IPAC. It has never been mentioned. So it came to us as a surprise. We called them to check, and they told us that, oh, it is an administrative decision. They have decided to do it. And they don't care. That is what they can do. These are some of the things we are talking about the Electoral Commission. Transparency and fairness must come at play, must be at the center of this election. Otherwise, the entire integrity and the credibility of this election is undermined by the deliberate, conscious effort of the Electoral Commission. As we speak, even the stamp pads that they are talking about, the ones that we are having worries with, the one that does not dry fast, as at 11 p.m. when our Sahel area, Akpafu, Lolobi, Santro Kofi area, they have created the Guan district. The Guan district has been created out of Hohoi, but those areas are now part of Oti region. Now, we raised questions with the Electoral Commission how they were going to solve that problem. Initially, we thought they would create a new constituency for that area, but that was not done. But the district has been created, and the district is part of Oti. The Electoral Commission just this Friday, when we had an engagement with them, told us that everybody who finds himself in the newly created Guan district would vote both in the presidential and in the parliamentary, because obviously you do not have representation for them in parliament. So they would have to vote in addition to the current constituency where they are until the time that a new constituency will be created for them. Just right now, whilst this press conference is underway, all the ballot papers for presidential and parliamentary that has been assigned to that area has been called. In fact, they have called that of the parliamentary, and they are claiming that the parliamentary will not be part of it. Our problem with the way this electoral commission operates is the level of deception and the level of inconsistency, the lack of information and the lack of transparency. In this dire minute, less than 12 hours to elections, you cannot be playing these games with such an important elections. I think that it is important that the Electoral Commission comes out on this, because the people of those areas also need representation. And they should be explaining why they are not allowing them to vote in the parliamentary after communicating to us and to the operators in those constituencies that they are going to vote in the parliamentary elections. So these are some of the few things that I wanted to bring to the attention of the media so that we consider. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think you've heard our officials address you on very important issues that need to be addressed before tomorrow by the Electoral Commission. We believe in good faith that the Electoral Commission will do the right thing, even though so far they have not demonstrated that they are interested in resolving some of these issues in a transparent manner and in a way that engenders confidence in the electoral process. We will continue to hope against hope that the right things will be done. Like our generals and officials have said, we will play by the rules. We are law-abiding, and we are encouraging all our supporters and Ghanaians at large to be law-abiding. Don't do anything unlawful. Don't do anything untoward. And in that same vein, like Colonel Larry Beblolati said, we are expecting the same thing from our friends on the other side. It is just an election. It is not a war. Ghana is the only country we have. And for NDC supporters watching us and Ghanaians at large watching us, make no mistake about it. The victory of the NDC is surely coming again. We are very confident of victory. We are just raising these issues as stakeholders in this process to ensure that there is transparency, there is fairness, and that the results which will be declared by the Electoral Commission, I believe, by the 9th of December, will be credible and accepted by all parties. So thank you very much for coming. We are most grateful. Tomorrow we will set up our elections headquarters here. This same setup will be here. Maybe the backdrop will change. So we'll be here with you for 24 hours and I believe 48 hours. We will be addressing you anytime it becomes necessary that we address you on developments that will arise in the course of the elections. Thank you very much for coming. We are most grateful.